There is a unique and quiet horror in watching someone you care about flinch from your light. It's not about something you did, not an argument or a mistake. It's the subtle, almost invisible reaction to your very presence. It's the way their smile tightens when you share good news. It's the sudden change in the energy of the room when you walk in, feeling completely yourself. It's the silence that follows a thought you share, a thought that feels as natural to you as breathing. But to them, it lands like a stone. You see it in their eyes for a split second, a flicker of pain, of resentment, of a deep and profound discomfort. And in that moment, you realize the source of their pain is not your action, but your existence. You, in your most authentic state, are the irritant. You are the grain of sand in their oyster, but one that never becomes a pearl, only a persistent, unending friction. This is a loneliness that words can barely touch. How do you apologize for who you are? How do you fix a problem that is rooted in your very essence, your own personal truth? This is the moment you first touch one of the most misunderstood principles of reality's architecture. We are taught a very simple story about human connection. It's a story of finding your tribe, of soulmates, of people who get you. The model is simple. Good intentions plus compatibility equals harmony. If there is pain, the story goes, someone must be at fault. Someone must be wrong. Someone needs to change, to apologize, to make amends. So we try. We soften our edges. We dim our own light so as not to blind them. We stop sharing the parts of ourselves that seem to cause that flinch. You talk less about your new passion because you see it makes your friend feel stuck. You don't mention your personal breakthrough because it reminds your sibling of their own struggles. You shrink yourself, piece by piece, becoming a quieter, more digestible version of yourself, all in the name of love, all in the name of not causing pain. But the grinding continues. Because the problem was never your volume, it was your frequency. It was the very note your soul was born to sing. Think about it this way. We imagine relationships are like a lock and a key. We just need to find the right key for our lock, and everything will open up beautifully. But this is a kindergarten understanding of a much more complex and beautiful mechanism. Reality isn't a series of locks and keys. It's an infinite field of resonances, of vibrations. Every person is a unique chord, a combination of notes playing at once. Sometimes you meet someone whose chord harmonizes perfectly with yours. The music you make together is effortless and beautiful. This is what we call a soul connection. But sometimes you encounter a chord that is fundamentally dissonant with your own. It's not a bad chord. In fact, on its own, it might be stunningly beautiful. But when played next to yours, it creates a jarring, uncomfortable sound, a deep, seismic clash. This isn't a failure. It's a mathematical certainty in a universe of infinite variety. There will be people you love, people you are bound to by blood or history, whose fundamental frequency clashes with the truth of who you are becoming. Your growth becomes a painful spotlight on their stagnation. Your freedom feels like a judgment of their choices. Your peace is a disruptive force in their familiar chaos. It's like two gears, both perfectly engineered, but with different patterns on their teeth. When they are brought close, they cannot mesh. They can only grind against each other. The closer they get, the more damage is done to both. And we, not understanding this principle, keep trying to force them together, thinking if we just turn them more slowly, or with more love, or with more patience, they will somehow magically fit. But they won't. The blueprint doesn't allow for it, and accepting this is a radical act. It's stepping outside the simple story of good and bad, right and wrong, and into a more mature understanding of how connection actually works. It requires you to accept a heartbreaking paradox. Your most authentic self, the person you have fought so hard to become, can be a source of genuine pain for another human being, even one you deeply love. It's not their fault for feeling the pain, and it's not your fault for causing it. It is the result of a fundamental incompatibility in the way your energies are structured. Your presence in their life forces a question they are not ready to answer. Your light illuminates a part of their own house they are not ready to see. And so, they wince, they pull away, they build walls, and you are left holding this impossible truth. This recognition is a threshold. It's a doorway into a new level of personal responsibility. It's the moment you stop asking, "What did I do wrong?" and start asking the far more terrifying question, "What if I'm not wrong at all? What if this pain is simply a signpost, a piece of information from the universe? Information telling you about the nature of your path and the nature of theirs. It's not a judgment, merely a description of the energetic landscape, like a map showing that two roads, while both leading to beautiful places, simply do not intersect. You are not their villain, and they are not your victim. You are both just travelers walking different paths, and for a short while, your paths have run so close together that the dust kicked up from your journey is making it hard for them to breathe. This isn't a sign to turn back or to abandon your journey. On the contrary, it's a profound confirmation that you are actually moving. You are changing. You are vibrating at a new pitch, one that is more true to you. The dissonance you feel is the proof of your own evolution. The pain is a signal fire, not a verdict. It's the universe showing you, in undeniable terms, the shape and texture of your own energy field. It's showing you who you are by showing you who you are not. It's showing you where your energy belongs and where it creates friction. To see this clearly, without blame or guilt, is to begin to truly understand the invisible tapestry of connections that makes up our shared reality. It's the beginning of wisdom. It's the first painful step toward a freedom you haven't even dared to imagine yet. A freedom that exists beyond the need for everyone to approve of or even be comfortable with your music. The old way of living tells you to solve this, to fix it, to find a compromise that eliminates the pain. But the new way, the way that aligns with the true architecture of things, asks you to simply witness it, to hold the paradox, to accept that your light can cast a shadow on someone else, and that this doesn't make your light any less pure. It's a truth that dismantles everything we've been taught about what it means to be a good person. It asks you to be something more honest, more real, and infinitely more courageous. It asks you to be true, even when your truth hurts. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So you stand at this invisible crossroads, a place most people never even realize exists. One path is the way of the peacemaker. It is paved with self-betrayal, with small daily acts of disappearing. You learn to swallow the words that bubble up, the ones you know will cause that subtle shift in the room. You share a watered-down version of your life, editing out the victories and the vibrant colors, offering only a grayscale report that is easier for others to digest. You become a master of self-deprecation, using humor to shrink your own light before it can bother anyone. This is the path of dilution. You take the potent medicine of who you are and add so much water that it becomes harmless, tasteless, and utterly ineffective. You convince yourself this is an act of love, of kindness. But in the quiet of the night, when you're alone with yourself, you feel the hollowness. You feel the ghost of the person you were meant to be, a person you are silencing one loving compromise at a time. The other path is quieter, harder, and requires a courage that feels almost cruel. It is the path of standing still. It is the choice to remain yourself, fully and unapologetically, and to bear witness to the pain it causes. This isn't about aggression or defiance. It's not about shouting your truth from the rooftops. It's a silent internal commitment. It's the decision to let your fire be hot, because that is its nature. You don't poke others with it, but you don't douse it in water to make them more comfortable either. You simply allow yourself to exist. You share your joy, knowing it might be interpreted as arrogance. You speak your truth, knowing it might land as a judgment. You live your freedom, knowing it shines a light on another's cage. And you do it with an open heart, full of a sorrowful love for the person who cannot stand your heat. You learn to live with the ache of it, the constant low-grade grief that comes from loving someone you can no longer be close to in your truest form. This is the impossible choice, and the secret, the one that changes everything, is that it's not really a choice at all. It's an awakening. Here is the fundamental shift in understanding. We are taught to treat this situation like a problem to be solved. Our mind, our conditioning, screams for a solution. A conversation that will fix everything. An apology that will mend the rift. A compromise that will restore harmony. But this isn't a problem. It is a condition of reality. It's like asking to solve the problem of the moon pulling on the tides. It's just what happens. It's a principle of energetic physics. The transformation, the true evolution, doesn't come from solving it. It comes from accepting it. It comes from the profound realization that some connections are not designed for harmony at close range. And the most profound act of love, the most spiritually mature thing you can possibly do, is to recognize this and adjust your distance, not your brightness. Imagine you are a sunflower. Your very nature is to turn towards the sun, to grow tall, to be brilliant and yellow. And next to you is a beautiful fern, one that thrives in the cool, damp shade. When you are a small sprout, you can coexist. But as you grow towards your potential, you begin to cast a large shadow. That shadow, an unavoidable consequence of your own growth, begins to block the fern's light, or perhaps your brilliant light begins to scorch its delicate leaves. The fern withers not because you are a bad plant. You are being a perfect sunflower. The fern suffers simply because of the proximity. The loving solution is not for the sunflower to stop growing, to stunt itself. The loving solution is to create a new garden arrangement. It's to honor that both of you are beautiful and perfect, but you require different conditions to thrive. This is the new way of being. This is what it means to live in accordance with reality's architecture. It means you stop needing to be good for everyone. You release the childish need to be universally liked and approved of. You trade it for something far more solid, far more real. The need to be true to the blueprint of your own soul. You begin to understand your energy as a specific tool with a specific purpose. You are not a universal key. You are a unique one, designed to open very specific doors. Trying to jam yourself into a lock you don't fit doesn't just damage the lock, it breaks you. So you learn to move through the world with a new awareness. You see the subtle flinches not as a rejection of you, but as information. The universe is telling you, this is not a space where your energy is welcome or nourishing. Move on, not in anger, but in wisdom. You become a quiet custodian of your own light. This path is lonely at first because it requires you to let go of stories that have kept you safe your whole life. The story of the happy family that always gets along. The story of the lifelong friendship that never changes. The story that love conquers all. Some of these are just stories. The truth is more nuanced. Love doesn't conquer fundamental energetic dissonance. What love does is give you the grace to accept it and create the right distance. A distance born not of anger, but of profound respect. Respect for your own path and respect for theirs. You start to see that the pain you witness in them is actually their own sacred work. It is not your responsibility to prevent it. Your presence is merely the catalyst, the mirror showing them something within themselves they need to see. By trying to fix their pain by shrinking, you were stealing a growth opportunity from them. You were treating them like they were too fragile to handle their own reflection. The bravest love is trusting that they are strong enough to face what your presence illuminates in them. Living this way is a quiet, difficult, and intensely honest path. There are no parades. There is no external validation. Your reward is an unshakable sense of inner integrity. You know your place in the great network of life. You understand that your job is not to please, but to be the chord you were born to be. And you trust that your specific music will find the other instruments with which it is meant to harmonize. The dissonance is not a failure. It is a guide. It's a sacred compass, pointing you away from where you don't belong and towards the places where your light will be seen not as a threat, but as the dawn. You finally understand. Their pain was never about you. It was about them, standing in front of a mirror. Your only job was to be a clear one. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments. I accept my own reflection. Write it as your promise. Nobody